Welcome, ladies and gents. It occurred to me, I know, it didn't occur to me, I just didn't do the review of Superman and Lois last week. It was a fantastic episode, though. It was good. I think we've got to the bottom of why there's, like, a discrepancy with the guy's suit. So Superman, Tyler Hoechlin, normally, suit looks bang on. And it has done consistently. Like, it's a really good suit. Fits him well. And I know this is like suit gate at the moment. I get it. But one of my main issues recently when they came back, because they had a hiatus, was the suit just looked weird. And it's apparently because there's been a huge gap between recording. So for him to stay in that level of shape and conditioning would be quite difficult. So I would imagine it's actually loose fitting because he maybe either dropped some mass, changed shape a little bit, or something to do with that. That's why. So we've got to the bottom of that. Just thought we would get there anyway. So what happened in this episode? This episode, full spoilers anyway. I always review this full spoilers anyway. This episode was not as good as the last one. You know, Bizarros in a Bizarro world. That was the best episode we've had from both seasons. The best episode by far yet. And it's not a surprise that this episode doesn't beat that one at all. It's just not a surprise because that's a tough episode to beat. That was a fantastic episode. But this was still good, and it has long-term ramifications moving forwards for the Superman and Lois universe if it's set to continue. What I mean by that is, of course, the CW is up for sale, is cancelling shows, whatever. I'm hoping that Superman and Lois isn't on the chopping block, and that Zaslav of Discovery, who now, you know, owns... well, the company's merged with Warner Brothers. I'm hoping that they just take it and put it on HBO Max. It's the right place for it. It has that level of quality. It is the right place for that show. But what happened, this whole episode was to do with, we've got the Jonathan from the Bizarro world. So this Jonathan has powers. He comes into our world, and it sets the stage for this kind of big fight. Big fight between Jonathan of Bizarro Jonathan, and Jordan, who obviously has powers because their dad wasn't there. Their dad swoops in, Superman swoops in at the last minute and sort of saves the day, I guess. But Jordan does a really good job of holding his own in some regard. And that was really nice to see. It's good. And it does set up an interesting dynamic between everyone because... you know, you've got this young superhero sort of proving himself to his father, who is the world's greatest superhero. And I liked that. I thought that was interesting. And then you've got the dynamic of you know, the normal Jonathan. I say normal, not Bizarro Jonathan, but normal Jonathan. Coming to terms with the fact that he's, you know, he's confronting someone else that has powers. And that would be difficult for him to handle, I guess, and it's something which he's been struggling with throughout the seasons. And you would, right? Like, it's a very real life situation, isn't it? You know, if your brother suddenly was excellent at everything, you know, even with remove the superpower aspect from it, if he was suddenly excellent at everything, you would be like, oh, what's going fallen by the wayside here? And then you meet someone who is identical to you and is exactly like your brother, you feel very put down. It's stages of coming to terms with things. So that sets up something interesting moving forwards. Now from here, what was interesting was we had Lana from, I don't know what we can call her, but Bizarro Lana basically comes into the world through the portal, but is confronted by our Henry Irons of our world, Superman and Lois's world, talking like it's real. But they confront her, and basically use Kryptonite XK to sort of send her back. And she says, you know, this won't be the last you'll see of me, and I'll come back, whatever. Cool, fine, good. You know, I want to see that happen. I want to see the Morgan Edge Tao Rowe of that world come through because he's good. I want to see these things happen. You know, it's setting up really interesting dynamics. But Jonathan of Bizarro World goes absolutely crazy in this episode and, like, really is a threat. So he confronts Superman around Lana Cushing, not Bizarro Lana, but he confronts Superman and just stands there kind of goading him whilst Superman has to speak to his friend. And he doesn't know he's been gone a month. He thought he's been gone like a day. And so, again, it sets up very interesting dynamics, because you've got this Lana character now really disappointed with her friend. She's just won the mayoral run. As now mayor of Smallville. Her longtime friend is just binning her off. And it's this big nightmare situation. And then suddenly Jonathan's gone. And he kidnaps Lana. And basically, the whole point of this episode is, and this is the thing which sets up the greatest ramification moving forwards, and the most interesting dynamic moving forwards, I think, personally, is Superman reveals, well, Clark Kent reveals who he is to Lana after saving her and things like that. He goes to find Lana after a big discussion with the family. He goes to find her, and she's really dismissive. She's really, really dismissive. She's like, you know, you don't know what kind of day I've had, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, no, you know what, I do. I do know what kind of day you've had. And he takes off his glasses. And this is always the funny thing, and I like how they've kept it. Because the glasses was the most dumbest disguise. But it's very earnest in its approach, and I love how they've kept that. So he just takes off his glasses, and she's like, oh my god. And he starts floating, she's like, oh my god. And then he does cooling breath, and she's like, oh my god, you're Superman. And so, but it's that, you know, take off the glasses, very earnest, you know, very Christopher Reeves. It was very interesting, I liked it. I thought that was quite funny. And so obviously now, Lana knows who Superman is. So I think they're either going to set up that character as dying, somewhere down the line, because obviously, unless they keep it, unless they genuinely keep in universe that now someone else knows Superman's identity. I can't imagine they're going to do that. I think they'll end up killing off this character, which I hope they don't. But I'm just surprised that that's the route that they went down. And I don't hate it either. You know, I actually don't hate that they've done that. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think that they've done a pretty decent job of handling it all. I think it just works. I genuinely think it works. Now, Jonathan is obviously kidnapped and put in some sort of red kryptonite prison or whatever. Not a red, it won't be a Red Sun cell, it'll be an XK cell, similar to how Morgan Edge is. Now, it'll be interesting to see if they get put together and whether Morgan Edge of our world teams up with him or whatever. Because the Morgan Edge of Superman and Lois's world has been good. He's sort of coming to terms with being, he's working his way around being good. You know, you can sort of see the seeds of him becoming a good character. He'll never fully be good, but you can see he's trying. And that's interesting. And he was always that sort of character. Throughout the first season, he appeared to be that sort of character as well. So I really enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry it's a week late. I'll be watching the next episode soon and giving you my review on that as well. These reviews can't have any footage because the CW copyright claims them. And yeah, it just is what it is. So I do apologise, but I hope you enjoy them nonetheless. I consistently recommend this show, and everyone who's tuned into it always likes it. So I'm going to do it again. Please go and watch this show. You won't be disappointed. Cheers, ladies and gents. You have a great day. Take care.